98.9% of you are not subscribed. Enter and subscribe because of the amount of 1,000 subscribers I will post a very special video for you. In the year 2135, humanity had spread across the stars, establishing colonies on distant planets and forging alliances with various alien species. The United Earth Alliance, UEA, was the governing body that oversaw these colonies and ensured peace and prosperity among the diverse inhabitants of the galaxy. However, this peace was often threatened by rogue factions, pirates, and mercenary groups that sought to disrupt the delicate balance. One such threat emerged on the planet Thon Five, a lush, resource-rich world on the fringes of UEA-controlled space. Thon Five was a critical hub for trade and resources, making it a prime target for the Xanthari Marauders, a notorious group of alien mercenaries known for their ruthless tactics and advanced weaponry. The UEA responded by deploying a contingent of their finest soldiers, the Human Special Operations Units, HSOU, to defend Thon Five and eliminate the mercenary threat. These units were renowned for their elite training, advanced technology, and unwavering resolve. Among them was Captain Sarah Mitchell, a decorated officer with a reputation for leading her troops to victory against impossible odds. As the HSOU forces arrived on Thon Five, the atmosphere was tense with anticipation. The soldiers disembarked from their dropships, their armor glinting in the sunlight, and their expressions steely with determination. Captain Mitchell stood at the forefront, her sharp blue eyes scanning the horizon for any signs of the enemy. "We've got a job to do, people," she said, her voice calm but authoritative. "The Xanthari Marauders have been terrorizing this planet for too long. It's time to show them what we're made of." The soldiers responded with a unified "Yes, ma'am," as they began setting up their base of operations. The HSOU was well equipped with state-of-the-art technology, including drones, surveillance systems, and automated defense turrets. They quickly established a perimeter and began gathering intelligence on the Xanthari's movements. Meanwhile, deep within the dense forests of Thon Five, the Xanthari Marauders were preparing for their next attack. Their leader, Korath, a towering figure with green, scaled skin and piercing yellow eyes, was confident that his forces could easily overpower the human defenders. He had heard stories of human soldiers, but he believed them to be nothing more than exaggerated myths. "These humans are weak," Korath growled to his second-in-command, Lurka, a lithe and cunning alien with sharp claws and a menacing grin. "We'll crush them and take what we want." Lurka nodded, her eyes gleaming with anticipation. "They won't know what hit them." As night fell over Thon Five, the HSOU soldiers remained vigilant. Captain Mitchell and her team gathered in the command tent, reviewing the latest intelligence reports and planning their next move. "According to our scouts, the Xanthari are holed up in a series of underground bunkers in the eastern quadrant," Mitchell said, pointing to a holographic map. "We'll launch a surprise attack at dawn and catch them off guard." Lieutenant Jake Harris, a seasoned soldier with a knack for strategy, nodded in agreement. "We'll need to move fast and hit them hard. If we can take out their leadership, the rest will fall apart." As the team finalized their plans, a sudden commotion erupted outside the tent. The soldiers rushed out to find a group of Thoronian civilians, led by a local leader named Alara, approaching the base. "Please, you must help us," Alara pleaded, her voice trembling with fear. "The Xanthari have been raiding our villages and taking our people. We have nowhere else to turn." Captain Mitchell stepped forward, her expression softening. "We're here to protect you. We'll do everything we can to stop the Xanthari." Alara's eyes filled with gratitude. "Thank you. We can show you a secret path to their bunkers. It will give you the element of surprise." Mitchell smiled. "That's exactly what we need. Thank you, Alara." As dawn broke over the horizon, the HSOU soldiers moved into position, guided by Alara and her fellow villagers. The secret path led them through a series of hidden tunnels and dense foliage, allowing them to approach the Xanthari bunkers undetected. Captain Mitchell signaled for her team to hold their positions as they prepared to launch their assault. She took a deep breath, steeling herself for the battle ahead. "On my mark, we move in. Remember, our priority is to take out their leadership and minimize civilian casualties." The soldiers nodded, their faces set with determination. With a swift motion, Mitchell gave the order, and the HSOU forces sprang into action. The initial attack was swift and brutal. The HSOU soldiers, with their advanced weaponry and combat training, quickly overwhelmed the outer defenses of the Zenthari bunkers. Explosions rocked the ground as the humans advanced, their precision and coordination leaving the Zenthari scrambling to respond. Inside the main bunker, Korath and Lyrka were caught off guard by the sudden assault. Alarms blared as they tried to organize their forces, but it was clear that the humans had the upper hand. Korath snarled in frustration, slamming his fist into the control panel. How did they find us so quickly? Lyrka's eyes narrowed as she studied the security footage. They must have had help. We underestimated them. As the battle raged on, Captain Mitchell and her team infiltrated the main bunker, their movements swift and silent. They encountered heavy resistance, but their training and superior technology allowed them to push through. Mitchell led the charge, her pulse rifle cutting down any Zenthari who stood in her way. She could see the fear in their eyes as they realized the true extent of the human threat. These were not the weak, disorganized soldiers they had expected. These were highly trained and deadly operatives. Finally, they reached the command center, where Korath and Lyrka were making their last stand. Mitchell raised her rifle, her gaze locking onto Korath's defiant eyes. "It's over, Korath," she said, her voice cold and unyielding. "Surrender, and we'll spare your lives." Korath bared his teeth in a snarl, but he knew he was beaten. He dropped his weapon, and Lyrka followed suit. "We surrender," he growled, his pride wounded. Mitchell signaled for her team to secure the prisoners. "Good choice. Now let's get these civilians to safety." As the HSOU forces escorted the Zenthari prisoners and freed the captured villagers, a sense of relief washed over Thon Five. The immediate threat had been neutralized, but the impact of the battle would resonate far beyond the planet's borders. News of the HSOU's victory spread quickly throughout the galaxy, bolstering the reputation of human special operations forces. The Zenthari marauders, once feared for their ruthlessness, had been brought to their knees by the strategic prowess and relentless determination of the human soldiers. In the aftermath of the battle, Captain Mitchell and her team received commendations for their bravery and effectiveness. But for Mitchell, the true reward was seeing the gratitude and hope in the eyes of the Theronian villagers they had saved. As the dust settled on Thon Five, the galaxy took note. Human special operations units were not to be underestimated. Their presence alone was enough to make even the most hardened mercenaries think twice before challenging the might of humanity. Thus ended the first chapter of Alien Mercenaries Refused to Fight When They Saw Human Special Ops Units. The journey was only beginning, with new challenges and discoveries awaiting them in the chapters to come. The victory on Thon Five had sent shockwaves through the galaxy. The defeat of the Zenthari marauders by the Human Special Operations Units, HSOU, was a topic of conversation in every corner of the United Earth Alliance, UEA, and beyond. News networks played footage of the battle, interviews with Captain Sarah Mitchell and her team, and scenes of grateful Theronian villagers being freed from captivity. The HSOU's prowess and tactical brilliance had not only secured peace for Thon Five, but had also enhanced humanity's standing in the interstellar community. Back at the Galaxian Nexus, the central hub of UEA operations, the atmosphere was electric with the buzz of recent events. Researchers, diplomats, and military officials were eager to analyze the strategies and technologies used by the HSOU, hoping to replicate their success in other conflict zones. In the command center of the Nexus, Captain Mitchell and her team were debriefing with Admiral Jonathan Blake, the head of UEA military operations. Admiral Blake was an imposing figure, known for his strategic genius and no-nonsense approach. "Excellent work on Thon Five," Admiral Blake said, his tone both appreciative and authoritative. "Your success there has been a major blow to the Zenthari and a significant boost to our morale." "Thank you, sir," Mitchell replied, "but we can't afford to rest on our laurels. The Zenthari were just one of many threats we face. We need to stay vigilant." Blake nodded. "Agreed. That's why I'm assigning you and your team to a new mission. We've received intelligence about another mercenary group, the Scarn Syndicate, planning an assault on the colony of Epsilon Eridani IV. We can't let that happen. Mitchell's eyes narrowed. The Scarn Syndicate was notorious for their brutality and advanced weaponry. "We'll handle it, sir. Just tell us what we need to know." As Admiral Blake outlined the details of the mission, Marcus and Nina were busy in their lab, working on enhancements to the HSOU's equipment and strategies. The recent battle had provided valuable data that could be used to further improve their combat effectiveness. "We've made some significant improvements to the drone's targeting systems," Nina said, showing Marcus the updated schematics. "They'll be faster and more accurate in identifying and neutralizing threats." Marcus nodded, impressed. "Excellent work, Nina. These upgrades will give our soldiers an even greater edge on the battlefield." Meanwhile, across the galaxy, the defeat of the Zenthari had not gone unnoticed by other mercenary groups. In a hidden base on a desolate moon, Korvac, the leader of the Scarn Syndicate, was fuming as he watched the news reports. "These humans are becoming a real problem," Korvac growled, his eyes narrowing. "First they take down the Zenthari, and now they think they can stand up to us." His second-in-command, Drax, a hulking figure with cybernetic enhancements, nodded. "We should strike back hard and make an example of them. Show the galaxy that the Scarn Syndicate is not to be trifled with." Korvac considered this, a sinister grin spreading across his face. "Indeed. Prepare our forces. We'll launch a surprise attack on Epsilon Eridani 4 and crush these humans once and for all." Back on the Galaxian Nexus, Captain Mitchell and her team were making their final preparations for the mission. They were briefed on the Scarn Syndicate's known tactics and weaponry, and equipped with the latest technological advancements developed by Marcus and Nina. As they boarded their dropship, the Intrepid, Mitchell addressed her team. "This is going to be tough. The Scarn Syndicate is well-armed and ruthless. But we've faced worse before, and we've always come out on top. Stick to the plan, watch each other's backs, and we'll get through this." The team responded with a unified, "Yes, ma'am," as the dropship lifted off, heading towards Epsilon Eridani 4. The journey through hyperspace was tense, but filled with a sense of purpose and resolve. Upon arriving in the Epsilon Eridani system, the HSOU immediately deployed their reconnaissance drones to scout the area. The colony was a sprawling settlement nestled in a valley surrounded by towering mountains. It was home to thousands of civilians, many of whom were unaware of the imminent threat. Lieutenant Jake Harris, monitoring the drone feeds, spotted the Scarn Syndicate's forces moving through the mountains towards the colony. "They're coming in fast and heavy. We need to move now." Captain Mitchell gave the order to deploy. The HSOU troops descended from their dropship, their advanced exoskeletons enhancing their speed and strength. They moved swiftly and silently, setting up defensive positions around the colony and preparing for the assault. As the Scarn forces approached, the HSOU launched a preemptive strike. Drones armed with precision lasers targeted the Mercenaries' vehicles, causing explosions that lit up the night sky. The human soldiers, using their enhanced weaponry and combat training, engaged the Scarn troops with deadly efficiency. The battle was intense and chaotic, with blaster fire and explosions echoing through the valley. The Scarn Syndicate, known for their brutal tactics, fought fiercely, but they were unprepared for the level of coordination and technology displayed by the HSOU. Captain Mitchell led the charge, her tactical brilliance shining through as she directed her troops with precision. Her pulse rifle fired in controlled bursts, taking down enemy combatants with unerring accuracy. The HSOU's defensive turrets, equipped with the latest targeting systems, mowed down waves of attackers. Despite their initial shock at the humans' capabilities, the Scarn mercenaries pressed on, determined to overwhelm the defenders. Korvac himself entered the fray, wielding a massive plasma cannon that sent devastating blasts towards the HSOU positions. Mitchell spotted Korvac and recognized the danger he posed. "Harris, take a team and flank Korvac. We need to neutralize him before he causes too much damage." Lieutenant Harris nodded and led a squad around the enemy lines, using the terrain for cover. They moved with the precision and stealth of predators, closing in on Korvac's position. Harris signaled his team to attack, and they unleashed a barrage of fire that caught the Scarn leader off guard. Korvac roared in anger, his plasma cannon firing wildly as he tried to fend off the assault. But the HSOU were relentless, their combined firepower overwhelming even his formidable defenses. With a final defiant roar, Korvac fell, his cannon clattering to the ground. Seeing their leader fall, the remaining Scarn mercenaries began to falter. The HSOU pressed their advantage, driving the attackers back and securing the colony. The once terrifying Scarn Syndicate was now in full retreat, their morale shattered by the ferocity and effectiveness of the human defenders. As the smoke cleared and the battle subsided, the colony's inhabitants emerged from their shelters, cheering and applauding their saviors. Captain Mitchell and her team received heartfelt thanks from the colony's leaders, who were grateful for their swift and decisive action. "Thank you for saving us," said Governor Elena Rosas, her voice filled with emotion. "We owe you our lives." Mitchell smiled, shaking the governor's hand. "Just doing our job, ma'am. We're here to protect and serve." Back on the Galaxian Nexus, the victory at Epsilon Eridani 4 was celebrated as another triumph for the HSOU. The news spread quickly, further solidifying humanity's reputation as a formidable force in the galaxy. Admiral Blake, once again addressing the Council, praised the HSOU's performance. "The defeat of the Scarn Syndicate is a testament to the strength, courage, and ingenuity of our Special Operations units. They have proven time and again that they are capable of facing any threat and emerging victorious." Councillor Vorn, who had initially been skeptical of the HSOU's capabilities, now stood in support. "The bravery and effectiveness of these soldiers cannot be denied. They have not only protected our colonies, but have also strengthened our alliances with other species. We must continue to support and invest in their efforts." As the Council members voiced their agreement, Captain Mitchell and her team received commendations for their valor and skill. But for Mitchell, the true reward was knowing that they had made a difference and safeguarded the lives of countless innocents. In the aftermath of their victories, the HSOU continued to train and prepare for future missions. The galaxy was vast and filled with potential threats, but they were ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. As Captain Mitchell stood on the observation deck of the Galaxian Nexus, looking out at the stars, she felt a deep sense of pride and purpose. They had shown the galaxy what humans were capable of, and they would continue to defend their home and allies with unwavering determination. Thus ended the second chapter of Alien Mercenaries Refused to Fight when they saw human special ops units. The journey was far from over, with new challenges and adventures awaiting them in the chapters to come. With their reputation solidified across the galaxy, the Human Special Operations Units, HSOU, faced growing respect and admiration from allies, but also mounting threats from adversaries who sought to challenge their prowess. Their victories over the Zenthari Marauders and the Scarn Syndicate had marked them as formidable warriors, but the galaxy's darker corners harbored enemies even more dangerous and cunning. As the dust settled on Epsilon Eridani 4, Captain Sarah Mitchell and her team barely had time to rest before receiving a new mission. This time, the stakes were higher than ever. The Drakthar Coalition, a powerful alliance of alien warlords known for their brutal tactics and advanced weaponry, had begun amassing forces near the UEA frontier. Admiral Jonathan Blake summoned Captain Mitchell to the command center of the Galaxian Nexus. His expression was grim, his eyes betraying the seriousness of the situation. "Captain Mitchell, we have credible intelligence that the Drakthar Coalition is planning a large-scale invasion. Their target appears to be the planet Novara Prime, one of our most vital outposts." Mitchell listened intently, understanding the gravity of the mission. Novara Prime was not only a strategic military base, but also home to millions of civilians. Losing it would be catastrophic for the UEA and its allies. "We'll stop them, sir," Mitchell said, her voice unwavering. "We'll need all available resources and support. The Drakthar are known for their ruthlessness and advanced technology. This won't be easy." Admiral Blake nodded. "You'll have everything you need. The fate of Novara Prime, and perhaps the entire UEA, rests on your shoulders. Good luck, Captain." As the HSOU prepared for their deployment, the atmosphere was tense but resolute. The soldiers knew they were about to face their greatest challenge yet. Mitchell briefed her team on the mission, emphasizing the importance of coordination and adaptability. "Our objective is clear," she said, her eyes scanning the faces of her troops. "We must defend Novara Prime at all costs. We will face an enemy unlike any we've encountered before, but we are the best of the best. Trust in your training, trust in each other, and we will prevail." The journey to Novara Prime was filled with anticipation and steely determination. The planet, with its sprawling cities and lush landscapes, was a symbol of the UEA's progress and unity. It was a world worth fighting for. Upon arrival, the HSOU quickly established their base of operations and began fortifying the planet's defenses. Drones and surveillance systems were deployed to monitor enemy movements, and strategic positions were reinforced to withstand the impending assault. As night fell, the first signs of the Drakthar forces appeared on the horizon. The sky lit up with the glow of their warships, casting an eerie light over the landscape. Captain Mitchell and her team stood ready, their hearts pounding with a mixture of fear and determination. "Here they come," Lieutenant Jake Harris muttered, his eyes fixed on the approaching enemy. "This is it." The battle began with a ferocity that took even the seasoned HSOU soldiers by surprise. The Drakthar forces unleashed a barrage of advanced weaponry, their tactics ruthless and unrelenting. Explosions rocked the ground and the night was filled with the sounds of battle. Captain Mitchell led her troops with precision and bravery, coordinating their efforts to repel the attackers. The HSOU's advanced technology and combat training proved invaluable as they held their ground against the overwhelming odds. In the midst of the chaos, Mitchell received a distress call from one of the civilian shelters. A group of Drakthar soldiers had breached the perimeter and were threatening the lives of hundreds of innocents. "Mitchell to Bravo Team, we need to secure the civilian shelter immediately," she ordered, her voice filled with urgency. "We can't let them harm those people." Lieutenant Harris and a squad of HSOU soldiers moved swiftly to intercept the Drakthar intruders. The ensuing firefight was brutal, but the humans fought with unwavering resolve. Using their superior tactics and technology, they managed to drive the attackers back and secure the shelter. As the battle raged on, it became clear that the Drakthar were not simply after territory. They aimed to break the spirit of the UEA and its allies. Their relentless assault pushed the HSOU to their limits, but Mitchell and her team refused to give in. In a daring counteroffensive, the HSOU launched a coordinated strike on the Drakthar command center. Using intelligence gathered from captured enemy soldiers, they pinpointed the location and devised a plan to neutralize it. The operation was a masterclass in tactical execution. Under the cover of darkness, the HSOU infiltrated the enemy base, moving with the stealth and precision of predators. They planted explosives on key structures and disabled critical systems, causing chaos and confusion among the Drakthar forces. Captain Mitchell personally led the final assault on the enemy command center. With her pulse rifle at the ready, she moved through the corridors with deadly efficiency, taking down any Drakthar soldier who crossed her path. Finally, she reached the central control room, where she confronted the Drakthar leader, Warrior Chief Gorlak, a towering figure with a fearsome reputation. Gorlak sneered as he faced Mitchell, his eyes filled with contempt. "You humans think you can defeat us?" Gorlak growled. "You are weak and pathetic." Mitchell's gaze was steely as she replied, "We are stronger than you think, and we will never stop fighting for our people." The ensuing battle was intense and brutal, but Mitchell's training and determination gave her the edge. She outmaneuvered Gorlak, delivering a series of precise and powerful strikes that brought the mighty warrior chief to his knees. As Gorlak fell, the remaining Drakthar forces began to retreat, their morale shattered by the loss of their leader. The tide of the battle turned in favor of the HSOU, and the enemy was driven from Novara Prime. The victory was hard-fought and costly, but it was a testament to the bravery and resilience of the HSOU and their allies. As the sun rose over the battered landscape of Novara Prime, the soldiers and civilians alike celebrated their hard-won triumph. Back at the Galaxian Nexus, the news of the victory spread quickly. Admiral Blake addressed the council, his voice filled with pride and determination. "The defeat of the Drakthar coalition is a testament to the strength, courage, and unity of the UEA and its allies. We will continue to stand together against any threat, no matter how formidable." Councillor Vorn, now a staunch supporter of the HSOU, praised their efforts. The bravery and effectiveness of our special operations units have proven that we can face any challenge and emerge victorious. We must continue to support and invest in their efforts to protect our galaxy. As Captain Mitchell and her team received their commendations, they felt a deep sense of pride and accomplishment. They had faced their greatest challenge yet, and had emerged stronger and more united than ever. Standing on the observation deck of the Galaxian Nexus, Mitchell looked out at the stars, reflecting on the journey that had brought them here. "We've shown the galaxy what we're capable of," she said, her voice filled with determination. "And we'll continue to defend our home and our allies with everything we've got." Lieutenant Harris nodded, standing by her side. "No matter what comes our way, we'll be ready." The story of alien mercenaries refused to fight when they saw human special ops units was one of bravery, resilience, and the enduring spirit of humanity. The HSOU had proven that they were a force to be reckoned with, and their legacy would inspire future generations to stand strong against any threat. Thus ended the third chapter, with the promise of continued vigilance and unity in the face of adversity. The journey was far from over, with new challenges and adventures awaiting them in the chapters to come.